The Liberty University Women's Ultimate Frisbee team is back on the field preparing for another great season. After holding a massive open tryout, 12 girls returned to the team while 10 new girls joined the team. Coaching staff and players are excited that they have a large team and are eager to start competing.
Yeah, we had a great base of returners. 12 girls returned this year, and then we got another 10 new girls that are trying out for the team. We're trying something a little bit different in terms of creating a practice roster as well as a regular roster, like a travel roster, and people can kind of fluctuate between the two depending on time commitments, availability, and skill level.
Yeah, we got a good crowd of rookies, which is really nice coming into the fall season. Since it's our preseason, we tend to go over our offensive structure, what we're looking for on defense. It's a good time to develop unity among the team since we have about half of our team are rookies that came in and the other half are returners, so it's a good time for us to just blend as a team, learn how to function as a unit. So that's what we're focusing on going into the fall semester.
This season is really interesting because we have a lot of girls that came to tryouts. So we have a pretty large team. I think it's the biggest team that I've been on so far. And so that adds a lot of new people, a lot of different experience levels. And I think what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing our team progress as a whole to become more of a unit and less of just individual players or more of some kind of group that can work together and function well on the field.
Our team is really excited to work on throws and just focus a lot on improving that skill, especially with a lot of new girls. So with them, we're going to focus a lot more on improving their skill and helping them learn the game, but also we're working a lot on endurance and just trying to have, because we lost a lot of seniors last year, so trying to kind of get up on the other teams with our endurance level, because that's something we know we can work at.
With a large group of rookie players, working on the fundamentals and finding that chemistry and groove is important. The Liberty Women's Ultimate team found that working on these aspects outside of practice has helped them find them on the field.
We love getting to know each of the new girls every year. Something we love to do is team bonding on and off the field, so especially during the fall we have some different events that we do together and just get to know each other more so that when we play together, we have that friendship and that relationship already started, and that it really just translates to how well we perform during tournaments and stuff like that.
With a lot of the new girls on the team, we have something called throwing partners, so outside practice, new girls are paired with returners, and we kind of, so that gives us time that's kind of required, but time to spend with each other outside of practice. And then we do a lot of things in the fall to help us prepare for the spring and just kind of have a lot of team bonding after tournaments, before tournaments, sometimes on the Saturday night before we go back on Sunday, just kind of have the chemistry off the field so that we can have it on the field.
The Women's Ultimate team also hopes to qualify for the Atlantic Coast Regional Tournament for the 7th consecutive time. The team is really focusing on conditioning as a way to beat out other competitors.
Something that we have been really focusing on, particularly in this off-season, is their conditioning. We want to make sure that each of our girls is a well-rounded athlete because every tournament we play in, they play 7 games in one weekend. Each game is an hour and a half long. It's very running intensive. It's not just long jogs. It's quick sprints continuously. And so they need to be prepared athletically in order to be able to maintain the level of endurance that's required for this sport. And so that is a big component of what we're focusing on, and we think it will pay off in the long run, especially as we go into sectionals and hopefully qualify for regionals. We're also developing a strong foundation in terms of our fundamentals as a player, so fundamentals of throwing, fundamentals of putting, fundamentals of catching, and just really going back to the basics and getting that strong foundation, especially since we have such a large crowd of rookies coming into this season.
Short answer to your question is we've been focusing a lot more on conditioning in practice and a lot more workouts outside of practice, so that's one aspect we're working on, just hoping to be the most physically fit team from a top to bottom athletes and not have as big of a gap between our top and bottom athletes. So that's one thing we're working on. The other thing we're working on is what I talked about earlier, having more well-rounded players to have a deeper bench. I think that most college teams have 2 or 3 kind of power players, and then their whole strategy revolves around that. And I've worked with that strategy before. Sometimes you have to, but with the size of the roster we have, that's not as practical. So we're trying to have it so that everybody can play each position adequately, if not well. and be able to switch people in and out. And I think that will give us, on day 2, when we're playing our 7th game, a lot more of an advantage than other teams will have in our section or our region. So hoping that takes us. It's a new strategy for us, new look. We'll see what happens with it, but that's the plan anyway.